All right, I think I'm going. This is a sample, a free sample that I got from Farmer Leaf. It is a tea from Laos, which I'm really excited about. You know, sometimes you get those free samples and you think, I didn't really want more green tea. And then sometimes you get some that's really cool. So I'm really glad I got this one because I've always been interested in teas from different countries, specifically those that are right on the border of southern China, Vietnam, and there's a couple other ones that may or may not have like a rich history of tea production like China does, but they are in the same area, they grow the same trees, and so I'm certain that there are some pretty good selections from those places. So this one I did do just a little bit of research on because I was trying to find room parameters and I did not find any right away, but I did read a few reviews and it said that this thing can be overbrewed, so definitely got to be careful. And so I'm definitely going to make sure I do a very quick brew, at least for the first couple of infusions. So this is the cold brew. Farmer Leaf was smart enough to put 2 of these little sample pouches in here. I'm not sure what the weight is on it though. I think it's maybe 4 to 5 grams. So I did my best with the water. I think I did pretty good. It's a really green color, which is expected from a young raw pu'er. Oh, talk about the dry leaf, because I did smell this yesterday and it does definitely have an aroma. It's like it's not really strong, but it's a sweet, sort of a sweet green aroma. No smokiness that I can find, and I got the wrong water bottle yesterday. I had the that Darjeeling First Flush in a water bottle, and I left the water bottle at the store and went to the gas station to buy a new water bottle, and actually it was the wrong one. I thought it was Smart Water, but it was not. So I have to go back and try to figure out what that water bottle was with the green top, because it was perfect. It had the nice little spout, but then it had like a little filter inside the spout, which is so perfect for cold brewing tea. So anyway, that's the cold brew. Just a little bit of activity. Very clean, very clear. Again, definitely a greenish hue. Wow, that is good and sweet. Oh, I really like that. You know, one of the reasons that I love cold brewing is because if left to just, if you just let the flavors come out of the leaf slowly over time, and I do refrigerator 24 hours is what I like to do. And I don't have like a really good, typically it's something like a tablespoon full of loose leaf tea for about 12 to 16 ounces of water is about what I end up doing, but I really kind of just eyeball it. But this is so good, it's so sweet. It is definitely a very green sweetness. a little bit of bitterness, like just a tiny bit. Just run this through the strainer. Get rid of some of these leaves. Really, really good. So far, I'm really, really liking this thing. Water. So I'm trying to figure out what that sweetness might be. Right now, the only thing I can say it is the best sweetness that you get from a young raw pu'er. I mean, it is definitely very much a green tea sweetness. I would say it's a sugar sweetness. There we go, sugar sweetness. It's not floral. It's not really fruity. It's a sugar sweetness. Honey is too dark, too rich of a. This is much lighter and brighter than honey. It is definitely like a sweet sugar, almost like sugar cane juice. And because of the color, and you see I'm just drinking through this cold brew. Because of the color, man, it does kind of remind me of sugarcane juice. It's not as sweet as sugarcane, of course, but it's definitely in that realm of sweetness. I mean, that is like tea nectar. That is really, really good. My goodness. Okay. Man, I'm going to relish in this cold brew. I really am. So now the question is can we find that sweetness in the hot brew? Now, from reading the reviews, I know already that this tea can be overbrewed. The cold brew does have just a tiny bit of bitterness on it. Not like a big bite that I like to have, but just enough, you know, it's definitely there. So I'm going to do really hot water, but I'm going to steep this very quickly and then play around with it from there. I really like these little labels. This is really cool. And so I saw on the site that he's still selling the 20-gram samples, and so I think they're coming in these, and so maybe there's going to be 2 or 4 per sample. I'm not sure, but either way, I really like these. And I'm going to pour this water right on top to try to open up this mini cake just a bit. Definitely agitate the water. I didn't want to break it up because I like it when the cake kind of opens itself up in layers as far as flavor and aromas go. Alright. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? Well, it's very subdued. Even the light fragrance that I got off the dry leaf is almost gone in the wet leaf. It's sort of a spinach thing going on. But yeah, it's just not a lot there. So again, I'm gonna go with really, really hot water, and I'm gonna steep this very quickly just to see what happens, and then play around with it from there. And I think that through this process, once this thing really starts opening up, I think it's going to change flavors and maybe even aromas. Because see, look, it's still not completely opened. And I'm not gonna rush it. So yeah, definitely a spinach aroma coming off. All right, so this is the first brew. Very clean, very clear, and very quick infusion. Let's see what we get out of this. Okay, first of all, it's very hot. But even with that very fast infusion, you're getting some definite greenness coming off of this. It's definitely tea. No question about it. The other thing that's interesting is that it was a very fast infusion, but it doesn't taste watery. It doesn't taste weak. It tastes like tea, just not like really strong. You know what I mean? There's no bitterness whatsoever. There's barely any flavor other than like just this green tea, green leaf thing. You know, it's letting you know that like you're definitely drinking like a green tea, no question about it. So that was like a really fast infusion. I'm gonna do something for about 15 seconds, really hot water, just to kind of see what happens here. And I'll tell you right now, if this thing doesn't just pucker my lips after 15 seconds, then I'm going to question those reviews, because they made it seem as though you had to just be really careful with this thing. And granted, only let it steep for maybe 5 seconds. Like, wasn't that strong at all. And of course, like I said, it's still not completely opened up yet. But you know, like I said, that's on purpose. I'm gonna see how this thing continues to grow and change. Still the same sort of spinach aroma. Smells good, like cooked spinach. All right. So again, very clean, very clear brew. Just a little bit of activity, but pretty much see-through. Definitely a green tint on this thing. Okay, so those guys, come on. I mean, there's no bitterness, none whatsoever. So now it's opening up a bit. I'm going to hit this thing pretty hard with really hot water and see what happens. I'm going to break this up a little bit as I'm doing this. So it's still very much a cake, but it's starting to come apart. And so I figure a long infusion, really hot water, ought to really break things up. Again, very good. Just a straight down the middle of the road, like green tea. There's nothing else in there at all. Just a green leaf. There's no fruit. There's no flowers. There's no woods. No nothing. Just green leaf. Not complex at all, but good. All right. Make sure I got some really hot water. This one we're going to do for a minute. And I am a little worried about overbrewing because, like I said, the cold brew did have just a little bit of bitterness on it. So, and I know these leaves are opening up, but you gotta try, right? All right. So I'm not gonna agitate this much at all. I'm gonna really let it kind of sit and do its thing. Because I am just a little scared, just a little bit, just a little scared. I am taking heed of the warnings given to me. And so I'm expecting this one to be just a bit overbrewed. But may also be surprised with some really nice bite too. All right. So there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the rest of this apart. Fairly large leaves, and we have success. It is all apart. Based on the brew being as clean as it is, I'll say that the quality on these leaves is really, really nice. I'm starting to get a little something different, but still mostly spinach. Okay. And so our brew has definitely changed color. It's a bit cloudier now. Still that green tint is not anywhere near brown quite yet, but definitely sort of a olive green. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, all right. Well, listen, this is why reviews are what they are, because now I get a chance to go back in and make my own review. The other thing I've often wondered, and I did do a little bit of research on this a long time ago, which is the pressing and the shape can affect the flavor profile of the tea. Now, whether or not it makes a huge difference, I don't know. But maybe it's possible that the reviewers were not drinking this compressed little sample square. I don't know, but I can't even. It doesn't seem like I can overbrew this if I wanted to. Again, it is very much so a young green raw pu'er, but it's not like crazy harsh like some of those can be. It's just a down the middle of the road green pu'er. Just, you know, that's what it is. I am starting to get a little bit of sweetness on the back end. And I know because of the cold brew that the sweetness is definitely in there, no question about it. And so I think that for this particular tea, I'm just gonna hit it like really hard and steep it for like, I don't know, a minute and a half, 3 minutes. I'm sure that cooler temperatures and longer steep time will be a really nice brew. But I am kind of curious just to see what happens if I'm like try to overbrew this thing. So far, I really like it. I really do. I prefer like I like the smoky flavors of the aged raw pu'ers. You know, I really like that. I like the sort of sweetness. This one does have some of that. It doesn't have the smokiness. You know, from my understanding, that can come with age. So this may be one of those cakes that, you know, if you can age it properly, maybe you can imbue some of that smoky flavor on it, and turn it into something really, really awesome. But as it is right now, spring 2022, it's nice. You know, it's if you want like a green tea, this is a really nice green tea. I mean, my goodness, I've gone to Starbucks in the past just for kicks, and I'll go up to the young lady and say, hey, you know, I want a small green tea, no sugar, please. And they kind of look at me weird, like, what? Like, well, yeah, but you know, and yeah, and you taste it, and it's never great. It's never great. This, and again, my opinion, raw pu'er's green tea. Okay, it's that, man. It's a really nice green tea, and I think I'm feeling a bit relaxed. I think I feel some of the caffeine, but, and again, I never know if it's, you know, my mood, if it's kind of my mental state, or whether or not it's the tea. Typically the caffeine, I can definitely be like, yes, it's definitely caffeine. But all the other things that come along with it, the theanine and the stuff that makes you like relax or whatever, I'm never quite sure about that. But this one, I definitely feel something. I think I'm tea drunk. Yeah, I think I'm tea drunk. And the more I say it, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm tea drunk, for sure. And it's a nice, strange feeling. It's like, I feel energized, but I'm not jittery. But I also feel like kind of, ooh, you know? Damn, man, this is good tea. Shit, this is good tea. My goodness. When was the last time I said that? God damn. And now, I don't know how long that was, but it's still just sort of, the spinach is pretty much gone too. It's just a green thing. Now look at that color. Starting to move just a bit into the kind of brassy color, but still a green tint. You know, if I saw this color first, I don't know if I would have said green, honestly. I don't know what those guys are talking about. The bitterness is perfect. It's not even like you know, it's just nice bitterness. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to overbrew this. I tried, so I don't know what they're talking about. It's good. The hot water, the long steep time, just brings out more of the greenness. The subtle sweetness that was in the last infusion is going away now, and the bitterness is stepped up. And so what that tells me is that if I want to get any sort of like sweetness out of this, I'm going to have to use cooler temperatures and a longer steep time. So, because what you want to do is you want to get this like want to get it right in the middle. Damn, this is good. I feel it's like that sip I just took. It's kind of like alcohol almost, because as soon as I take it, I feel it go down, and it's just right there, and it's just like, you know? Again, maybe it's just my mood today or whatever, but I'm definitely feeling something for sure. All right. Like my eyelids feel kind of heavy, which is crazy. Okay. I'm going to see what the temperature of this thing is. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay. So I'm gonna have to warm this up some more. I wasn't able to find whatever glass I used last time, so all I have is my water bottle from today. Crazy water from Mineral Wells, Texas. Look at all those minerals on there. You know, I visited Europe last year, and it spoiled me. I was in Iceland, and I went to this place that had like a spring coming out of the ground, and the people that lived on the land, they tapped it. And so they allowed for people to just come and just fill up their water bottles as much and as many times as they wanted to, and they left like a little like tip jar there, kind of like the honor system, you know. And for the first time in my life, I really got a real understanding of what mineral water was, you know. And yeah, it's from underground. It's water that has been stored and steeped in rocks inside the earth, and if there's any sort of volcanic activity, it imbues the water with carbon dioxide, and that's where the bubbles come from. But there's a huge difference between natural bubbles and the stuff that you see in the grocery store. So yeah, the other thing is going to like different restaurants around Europe. I would ask for mineral water, and almost every time the waiter or waitress looked at me crazy and was like, "You mean tap water?" And I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is there. And you get back here in the States and you go to the store, like for instance, the Smart Water. I bought this on accident. When you read the label, there's like chloride and all these chemicals and crap in it, and it's just like, I want water. I just want regular water, you know. And so anyway, so crazy water from Mineral Wells, Texas, is the water that I prefer. I do drink tap water, of course, because, you know, at the end of the day, the U.S. Has really good water facilities as far as water treatment and stuff like that. And so I think it is a mistake to forego the efforts and privileges that come with being in America and having our water system, because in so many places around the world, it is not safe to drink the tap water. And so I think, you know, it's like, if you have access to it, like, why not, right? But I do supplement my water with with mineral water. And what I've come to learn is that not every state in the U.S., but many states in the U.S. have some area in the state that has natural mineral springs or mineral water aquifers. And so I always try to find where that place is in the state and purchase the water from that company that's drilling the mineral wells and springs and stuff like that. Because, you know, if you're gonna drink water, why not put vitamins in it, you know? All right, here we go. So cooler temp, maybe 100, maybe 120 Fahrenheit. Green tint, really clean. Again, man, this tea is just blowing me away. It is on the cusp of being watery, but it's not. Like, it's still a strong brew. The sweetness is there. I don't know if it's possible to get it as sweet as the cold brew. I think if you really want the sugars to come out in this tea, I think you just have to do it as a cold brew, or maybe even like room temperature water for a long time or something like that. But as a hot brew, it is a straight up like green tea. And like I said, for me anyway, today, the body sensation is real. And I think the only negative I can say about this tea is that it does seem as though it is starting to die off, and it's only been what, like 6 infusions, I think, something like that. I think I'm on number 5. So that would be my only negative. But personally, I prefer this really hot water, and you can't overbrew it. And then, like I said, the cold brew is really sweet. It's a totally different experience than the hot brew. I wouldn't even try to find the sweetness in this hot brew. I don't think there's a point. I think this is supposed to be like a green tea, if that makes sense. Like, if you went to Starbucks and ordered a green tea and they gave you this stuff, you would think that it was the best Starbucks in the world. You know what I'm saying? You just be like, what? You serve this? You know, there's no, yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, but it's really watery. So I'm going to let this last infusion sit here for quite some time. Like I said, personal opinion, really hot water, can't overbrew it, and this is gonna be right on with this thing. And then the cold brew, like I said, man, it's like really green, but really sweet. It is everything you want in a raw pu'er, minus the smoke.